Hello friends, Jason Meyer here with Masterworks, and tonight we're going to look at the artist that we talked about, or I ended the class with today that we spoke about. Russian born, belonged, I believe in 1984 to the Ukrainian Artist League, and I, to be honest with you, don't know much about his background. Hello Shakti, but his paintings just blow me away. So we're going to look at a few of his paintings, and then we're going to end with sort of an odd comparison tonight. But I want to do that because sometimes the clearest way to see things is with a good comparison. So let me share my screen and get into this. So this is, I'm not going to attempt to say his name. That would probably just be rude. But like I said, Justice Ukrainian. Hey, Tom. Excellent. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, these are pretty cool. These are pretty cool. All right, well, let's get the noise off of here and just have a minute before we get started to kind of take this one in. Are there anything you see? So as you're looking at this, of course, just take it in and see how you feel about it. What you like, what you don't like. What do you see? What do you not see? So since I do want to go through a few of these, I'm going to go ahead and we could just sit and look. Do you guys see any abstract movement? Remember how we were saying you could make the most in the background and draw the eye there? And you notice a pretty hard line right there, huh? Where do you think this thing leads to? Oops, hold on, there we go. Sorry about that. So let's start over. We were talking about the most in the background. Right, you see the bright color right there? That looks like it's probably a most back there. We come to a hard edge, a leading. Where do you think you're going to end up from there? And it just so happens this is the most down here. And it's a little bit hard to see, but you're going to see that in just a second. One of the other things I'd like you to see is the building here in the foreground, the building closest to us. In many, many, many paintings, this would be the loosest background building. So how did he get away with what most artists, or a lot of artists, would use as a distant, unfocusable building as a focal point in his painting? Remember, it's all relative, right? So look at that next building. And what about the building in the distance? Well, when these are your choices, you're obviously going to land here. And look at all these people. Are those actually people, or are those paint smudges? I mean, you kind of have some gestures there. Even these two. So when the quote-unquote people are that abstract, then this becomes the most worked out. Does that make sense? And again, notice it where this scene starts. Nothing happens until we're up here. Right? Then like all the activity basically happens right here. Boom, 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 boom. A little bit, boom, boom. We're going to stretch up, stretch down. The vagueness here gets us not to stop, and as long as we're moving, we're going to read this as people. Anyway. Is it a little easier to see in black and white? I think it's magical what this guy does. It just seems so magical to me. Let's go for a ride. Everybody hold on for a second. What actually caused all this activity right here? You see the dark, and then he's got like these little specks of light. It's just amazing at how he's done so much with so little. Can you guys see how the most light and the most dark comes forward, and then it goes back, things get closer together and almost merge? And look how he's just barely grayed off the edges there to keep us in the center. And he's done the same thing down here. Again, just a little bit of activity to say forward. All right, let's see what else we can get into. What do you guys see here? What do you think? What's he having us to do this time? I mean, one thing that I am so impressed with is look at what percentage of the canvas has absolutely nothing going on. Over the top half. Probably what, the top 2/3. Pardon me. And then if we go side to side of that bottom third where there is something happening, how much there is there actually something happening? Reminds me of Odnear. Yeah, it's that kind of it's a realism of kind of an otherworldly feeling sort of thing, right? It's I don't think fairy tale-ish is the right idea, but fantasy, right? There's been a fantasy in his work. All right, so just real quickly, let me show you what I see. See how he's made that pretty active? And why has he done that? Well, look how strong. Jeez. How forward can you be? But look, there's a lot of weight right here. A red so that's going to slow you. Look at that red. That's going to slow you down. So is this red near? Middle, distant, far? Do you see how that abstract color can say near to far? And then again, since this is so strong, it requires that to slow you down. And this would not work without that power, without all of this. Part of the, in my mind, the genius of this is the aesthetic balance. Just crazy. Just crazy. All right, look. Can you make that much of your canvas with nothing and still have a good painting? I mean, to my mind, that is an incredible feat pulled off right there. Just incredible. And can you feel it's balanced, like it really works in every way. You just can't put a big heavy dark in the corner like this. No, you can't. And every teacher in the world will tell you can't. Unless you're this guy, then yeah, you most certainly can. I mean, astounding feat there of aesthetic balance. It's just beautiful. So I think it's just, he does such a wonderful job, in my mind, bridging the real or even the fantastical with the abstract. Like, look at those abstract blue shapes in the sky. And then how they continue into abstract pieces of clothing on the people. Right, just the movement, the pause. He controls how fast you move through where. Right, and you feel drawn back through. Right, your eyes need to go searching back. Right, and nothing's worked out so much in the foreground that's going to hold you up here for very long. You'll pause and then just go. Are you guys able to start to see some of these movements that are in here? Some of these movements that transcend objects? Like, why are we pushed back into space so hard? Well, I would say, and then look, he pauses you, not with it, but with a round. How clever is that? Boom. And then there's some white, but look, where does this go? Where's he pointing? Where's his shadow pointing to? And then once you're up here, right, it's almost like he launches you back. Then on this side, he's got you going. And again, take that out. And this is a little aggressive. It's a little aggressive. I might have to ask you to leave the dinner party. But again, with the elements that he has in there to slow you down, it's just beautiful. And these abstract weights and shapes and movements. Can you pick that? So subtle. Look at that. Can you feel that right there? Can you almost like a radial design? And he's not going to let you leave. And then we start pointing this way. Point. What is this? Pointing. Right? So all these leading lines, but they're just merely suggestions. And then he knows the weight of white. He knows that the white wavelengths are going to be the first one to hit your eye. He knows it. And he uses it. Okay, so we looked at this one this morning and we talked about how could somebody put that thick piece of paint right there and it be balanced. How can they do that? Whoops, what happened there? Oh, somebody rebelled. Let's go back here. There we go. So the reason this is possible, why do you think it's possible that you can put a mark like that down and maintain aesthetic balance? I want to see if you can see for yourself. So is that mark part of a larger pattern? Do we start with all kinds of light back here? And then look, it's transformed into these very active boom shapes, and then we talk about transcending objects. Look, but she was a different color, remember, she was blue, but look at that value. And so with this kind of active shape, then this passive shape can be active in terms of paint quality. I hope that's not too... I mean, this is a pretty high-level stuff here, so I hope you guys are getting it. But if it doesn't make any sense, don't feel bad, because this is some very abstract... Look how he's grounded that movement. You guys see that? Right? Look how that just pauses all that action. Right? Would this be the same without this dark going off the side? It's just the idea of ropes really complicates this. Also notice that what we're seeing isn't the entire horse. Look how this part is dark, even on her hair. This is dark. And then we have light, 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 and light. So the light, again, is transcending these objects in a very active shape. And look at this release right here. Look at that. Ah, I mean, that's just beautiful. And the energy in that mark. Just astounding. Just astounding. And again, can you see how simple of a pattern it is? I mean, it's very complicated in one sense, but in another, it's just a dark, basically on the bottom, with a light on top that invades the dark. So that dark does all that work, but yet still remains a single piece, a single value. All right, so let's see, 820. You guys ready to get crazy? We're going to get crazy here for a second, okay? So we're going to go from this to a French academic painter. And most of you guys are familiar. even not most non-painters are pretty familiar or have seen this guy's work. But I don't want to focus on him too much, because what I want to do is I want to use him as a foil to compare tonight's artist. And what I want to do is, do you guys see, again, look at that dynamic diagonal energy right there. Do you feel that? And look, it's going there, and then it's almost comes to a point. And we talk about movements. Look how they just throw you through this. Right? Her eyes back to him. Okay? So, but wait a minute. You know, Susan's dog painting, her dogs were like this, and you said you probably want to lay them back into space. But look at how varied his values are up here. Right? I mean, look, this guy's reading more with the darks. And definitely light. And how is she compared to her? Right? So even there on a very close plane, there's still a lot of dimension here. And then we are thrown back to this distant group here as well. All right? But again, let's look at the energy in this. Boom. The forces and counter forces. Now can you find the energy and the tension in this one? You remember that big dark diagonal? What's the dark in here doing? Look, it's real quiet, inactive. And isn't it interesting that it kind of ends in the blindfold there? Oops, on the wrong screen. Sorry, guys. Big, dark. Rather than a diagonal is horizontal. And then the blindfold. And then what's his light doing? You see that? How is that angle of the light and placement compare with this movement of the light? Can you see the difference? Right? And let's just look light shapes. I mean, forget what we're looking, who cares what we're looking at? What you're looking at is a light shape. You're reading it as a woman and the mythology and all of that. No, it is a light shape. And how does that light shape compare to that light shape? How does this dark compare with that dark? And I'm not here to say one's right or one's wrong. I simply want you to see the differences and what each one does. Right? Very active there and a lot of resistance. A lot less action here, but there's still some resistance. Okay, am I talking crazy talk to you guys, or do you guys see it? You got to let me know. I'm out here in crazy land. But these are those unseen forces, right? Because it's not detail in here that's making this dynamic and compelling. It's actually kind of the lack of detail. You know, and it's so important how these things are organized. And so just to completely change the subject, where's the red in this painting? Where else? Well, there's a bunch down here and there's a bunch. No. The red happens right here. Where does the yellow happen? Right? Most of it, that's a little yellow too, but this bright yellow, look, it just all happens right in here. So if we look at this table, look like a snooker's table or a pool table to me, but I don't know. And why do you think you're going to that boy in white so much? I'm assuming he's a boy in white, I don't know. Well, look at this part of the table and look at that part of the... What? You guys catch my drift? Alright, Shakti sees it. Uh-oh, hi Susan. Late, but... Okay, this is a good one. This is a good one. No worries. It's the holidays. No need to stress out. We're all good. Alright, so let's... Is it easier to see in black and white? Is it easier to see in black and white for you guys? Do you see the movement of the light there? The movement of the dark, the resistance, the unity. The dark invades the light. And look, the light doesn't go all through. So this gesture is made both with the dark and the light. Look at that line. Boom. Look how why is that so powerful? Because how many other lines are in here? Not very many. Okay, now again, let's compare this composition to that. Much more dynamic. Now I want to leave you with this thought, and then we'll look at these last two painting, or this last painting in color one more time. What makes up what? So what are you actually looking at right here? No. What image is in your... Don't tell me some story. I want to know what your eyes are seeing when they look at the screen and see this. Because they are seeing exactly the same thing here as they are here, as you are here. So what are we seeing? Dark, light, dark gray, light gray, light, or four values is what I'm trying to say. You see, there's values. And these are value patterns. And the shape of these patterns determine the feeling of the painting. Right? Same thing here. Some values ordered up with certain edges, certain design. So if you can kind of look past what the artist is trying to get you to see and actually look at what's on the canvas, you can begin to decode this stuff and see it and really appreciate it. Hey, I'm not very happy. My screen, let me see. My screen's not showing this whole painting. I hope you guys are seeing the bottom of that painting. Huh, hold on a second. No, it's not going to let me do it. Anyway, you can still get the drift. A little bit's cut off. That's a bummer, though. Alright, so more or less, guys, why are we going to this part of the wall and not that part of the wall? Why is this here? Well, take that away, and what happens? Well, several things happen. One, this gets way too fast and way too hard. Two, this gets way too fast and way too hard. But that mitigates this movement, and part of the reason is look at that tone come on here. So you've got to slow down when you get here. And also, not only is there that movement, but there's that movement. All right, guys, I think we'll leave it there. I don't want to fail to, fail to mention our schedule for this week. Morning jumpstart feedback will be at 8 a.m. and that'll go through Thursday morning. No morning jumpstart on Friday. And our evening program, this one you're watching right now, will go through Wednesday night, Monday through Wednesday. We'll take Thursday and Friday off. And then the studio time in the afternoon's been canceled this week. The new light came today. I spent the day putting it together, and we're going to be installing it. So we're using that time to improve the studio and hopefully be back up with some studio time next Monday. We'll see how that goes. What else do we have? I think that's it. Sketch Club will be Tuesday only this week, not Thursday. And then Monday we'll take up our regular program. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you so much. I really do hope that you guys are getting so much out of this. You just can't really look at good paintings enough, right? And you just want to. You just want to. Okay. Well, until next time, I'm Jason Meyer of Meyer Studio. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up with the video and like and subscribe to our page. We would love it. We could use some new subscribers. We are working on course curriculum for our new courses, and we hope to have a free charcoal sketching, introduction to charcoal sketching out in January. So we'll let you know about that. Have a beautiful night. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.